Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about my opinion of keeping a crested gecko. And you're probably going to want to hear this because I personally think it is the easiest, best reptile, best beginner reptile, best reptile for anybody. Been in the hobby for 20 years, been in the hobby for like 2 days. Best reptile you could get. Well, best lizard at least. So, yeah, you might want to stay tuned. So, put in the comments below if you like how this setup is. I didn't feel like sitting at my desk. I kind of wanted to show you the fish tank. You can't really see the fish right now, but thought it'd be kind of cool. So, yeah, Crested Geckos. Now I'm going to be going over the 5 things that I've already talked about for the last 5 weeks, which is food, water, wait, no, not water, food, temperature, and humidity. Let's see, substrate, lighting, and housing. Those are the 5 things that I think are most important. I probably should put temperature, humidity, and lighting all together, but I just have those 5. So, yeah, basically, so let's start off with food. This is one of the big kickers that's like, yeah, it's the easiest. So with snakes, you have to de-thaw frozen mice, which is disgusting. Like, let's be honest, I wouldn't really get disgusted by it, but like, yeah, it's disgusting. You're just de-thawing a dead animal. Like, there's nothing fun about that. With like animals that are insectivores, you have to feed them live insects. Like, who wants to deal with live insects? I know I don't, and that's why I don't have animals that, eat live insects. Then, like, I don't really care with dealing with live insects. I just don't like having to go back every single week, maybe every twice a week, to get live insects and then having to feed them, like, daily. It takes forever. So, they don't eat live insects. They don't eat mice or frozen animals or whatever. And then, you don't have to cut up more vegetables for them every single week like you would with an iguana, which, to be fair, I think that's fine, but, like, still, it's just not very fun. Like, every single week or every, 2 weeks, you have to cut up more food for an iguana. This is what you have to do for a crested gecko, okay? You might want to feed live insects every, say, 1 week, every 2 weeks, something around those lines. But you don't really have to, because all you have to do, go to Amazon, go online, or go to your local pet store and buy a complete gecko diet. You mix it with water, you stir it in, maybe replace it like every day or so. And you don't even have to do it in the morning. You can do it at night, which I love that. So food is legit the best. Like, I haven't really done the math of how much it's been, like how much you have to do to pay for food. Because to be honest, I got my gecko with some of its old food, so I haven't actually paid for my gecko other than the initial price yet. And I probably won't for a really long time. So, which is really awesome, besides, like, caging stuff. So that's it for food. Mix some powder in with water. Like, how easy it can't get easier. And that's one of the major things. Then I'm going to go to lighting. They don't need very special lighting. They might, but, like, they're not nocturnal. I don't know the specific word for it, but they mainly come out in twilight, which is morning and night. So they wouldn't really get UVB. They are arboreal, but they wouldn't really get UVB in the wild, so you don't have to supply it. You don't have to supply a heat light because normally room temperature is good enough. It may not be. I go over temperature and humidity in a different video, so if you want to know, go back to there. I'm pretty sure I say the specific number. But what's really nice, if you have a weather app on your phone, then you just look up what the weather is for New Caledonia, and, that works too. I never really thought about it until I saw Leopard Gecko's video, which is Leopard Gecko's really popular YouTube channel. She has a Crested Gecko and a Jehua. And she said she researched, New Caledonia's weather, and that kind of told her what would actually be alright. So that's what I do. I also obviously look at the temperatures online when doing research. So, temperature is super easy. So, lighting super easy. No special lighting. If you want live plants, this is another thing that I really like. You can have live plants because no insects would eat them. Like, if you had a crested gecko, then the feeder insect might eat, like, say, like a succulent. Then the lizard, like a leopard gecko, would eat the insect, which would then have, like, toxins from the succulent. Now, I don't know if succulents are all right, but, yeah, basically, you don't have to worry about insects, like, giving them something bad, from eating, like, some plant or something like that. So, yeah, basically, they can have, like, cool plants. They don't need special lighting unless you need some kind of day-night cycle, preferably like on this tank right here, on this fish tank, I have like a shop light. That would work perfect. That's what I'm going to have for my gecko's terrarium eventually. So yeah, they can be in an awesome terrarium. They don't need special lighting. They don't need special food at all, like the easiest food you can get. And, let's see, substrate. Now here's something that's kind of weird. Again, like I said, they can be in a bioactive terrarium, so basically they need cocoa fiber substrate. But there might be something kind of weird. Sometimes, I guess, crested geckos will eat their substrate, which obviously doesn't, like, that's not a good thing. So, be watchful of that. I don't know if really anybody knows why. Mine just licked the substrate, so I'm going to try it again on substrate. I think it's just because it's never seen, like, substrate like that. Because they can be kept on paper towels, which is also really easy. So, that's pretty cool. Then, for humidity. Now, they need, like, 80% humidity, 70% humidity, something in that range, which really isn't that hard to supply, because they're not big lizards. If they had, like, a 55-gallon, like my iguana has, that would be insane. Like, having it 80... I mean, I know my iguana is supposed to have 80% all the time, but I keep his eco-earth really, really damp, so he should basically be at 80% all the time. But, like, you'd basically have to, like, supply the whole room with 80% humidity. You don't have to do that with the crested gecko. You can keep them in something relatively small, which brings me on to housing. Their maximum... Well, no. For an adult, you can keep it in, like, a 20-gallon tall. 20-gallon tall. That's it. Now, I'm probably going to go to a 20-gallon, or a 30-gallon tall. Now, what would be better if you had some kind of, like, special, like, reptile aquarium, like the ones that open on the front. Normally, they are more expensive, and they're like harder to get online, like if you were going to shop on Craigslist like I do. So that would be preferred, so then you can open it up on the front. Right now I have it in a tank like that, which I got with it on Craigslist. So yeah, housing, super easy. Don't need a huge tank. Plus, I already talked about substrate, plants, lighting, which would kind of go with housing. Then also, they do need hides, but like that's not, I mean, every lizard's gonna need hides. Basically, housing isn't a problem. Doesn't need a huge tank. What's the last thing? So food. I think that covers it all. Basically, hope this video helped. I'm basically just explaining how easy I think that it is to keep crested geckos. And with handling, that's another thing I really like. Now, here's the one problem that I see with crested geckos. They can lose their tail, but here's the thing. They have a prehensile tail, so they use it to hang on to stuff. So unless you're gonna try to pull it out, like pull the tail off for some reason, they basically won't drop their tail unless they're sick in some way or they're getting stressed out by a cage mate like another crested gecko. Which sometimes like males and females will get in kind of quarrels and one would bite off the other one's tail. But I mean, if you're just keeping one, you'll basically be fine. And let's see. They do not grow back. The tails do not grow back, which is different than most lizards, but with crested geckos, it just stays like it just stays a nub forever, basically, after it's dropped its tail. So with handling, it's super easy. It's really a beginner level lizard. Like something like a monitor would remember the bad experiences of handling, and if you handled it kind of bad every single time, then it would just hate it more and more and more. With a crested gecko or leopard gecko, I personally believe that they just have to get used to it. And obviously you shouldn't like squeeze them. You should just let them kind of like crawl like this. I just I'm kind of dumb. I should have held my gecko in this video instead of holding it like I held it a second ago. But they're very cool lizards. If you're going to get a lizard and you're a beginner, get a crested gecko. Or, well, do research first, then get a crested gecko. So, yeah, basically that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know my crested gecko videos have been pretty long, but I guess I have a lot to say. So, yeah, I mean, like, imagine trying to get, like, a whole care for an animal that, like, has been perfected in nature in, like, 10 minutes. Kind of hard, right? So, yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like it down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put in the comments below. And if you want more content, then subscribe. Real quick, I'm going to get up. And I'm working on my Crested Gecko vivarium or terrarium right now. So I have this. I have... Oh, jeez. Nice save. Okay. Anyway. That was just the top. It wasn't on because the tank's obviously like sideways right now. I have silicone. I have expanding foam. I have the light already right there. This is the tank I'm going to be putting it in. So stay tuned on my channel because some awesome stuff's obviously coming up. And maybe we'll learn a little bit more about why crested geckos sometimes eat substrate. Like, it's kind of weird, right? Have a good day, and I will see you in the next video.